did you say? Are you saying Tenko is the culprit?
She committed suicide.
Suicide?
If she committed suicide, it would explain a lot of things we couldn't figure out. She volunteered to be in the cage, and then stabbed herself during the seance. It wouldn't matter how dark the room was.
But the sickle she was stabbed with was under the floor, right? If Tenko had stabbed herself, wouldn't the sickle still be inside the cage?
Ja, und vor allem wie? Er tötet sich selbst, indem man sich in den Nacken sticht. Ich sehe da ein logistisches Problem.
Oh my god. Mew actually said something smart.
Ja, das ist auch bemerkenswert.
Perhaps that explains why the floorboard was removed. After stabbing herself with the sickle, she threw it underneath the floor.
So she took off the floorboard to get rid of the sickle?
Yes, that makes sense to Gonta.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me. There's no reason for Tenko to commit suicide.
Maybe I wasn't too far off with the theory I had earlier. You know, about Tenko killing Angie.
Yeah?
Because Tenko and Angie were fighting for your attention, right?
Hey, Angie, when did you brainwash Himiko?
Tenko's pent-up frustration led her to commit such an atrocity. Her conscience couldn't handle it anymore, so she decided to end her own life.
What?
But if she was gonna kill herself, why do it during the seance?
She wanted to hide the truth of her suicide.
Really? Why?
There could only be one reason to hide it in a killing game, right? It's to take us down with her.
Take us down?
She wanted us to pick the wrong answer during the class trial, so she could bring us all down. She wanted us to die with her. Okay, well, she probably just wanted Himiko to die with her, but still.
What are you saying? Tenko wasn't like that. She told me.
Keep your chin up and live life facing forward. Survive with me and everyone else.
What if all of that was just a lie?
A lie?
Wait, we should believe Tenko's last words.
The true terror of class trials is that you shouldn't believe everything said.
Himiko, you said that Tenko would never do anything like that. But how can you be so sure? Did you guys actually know each other? People keep all sorts of secrets. Like Maki. She hid the fact that she's a cold-blooded killer. Is it wise of us to trust other people wholeheartedly in this kind of situation?
Jeez, you're such a naive dude.
Naive?
We're all just people, you know? Of course we're gonna have some secrets. What matters is whether there's any malice behind them.
People can lie about how malicious their hidden secrets really are.
Well, duh. It's impossible to know for sure what others are thinking. That's why it all comes down to whether or not you believe in yourself. If you get betrayed, it's not their fault. It's your fault for believing in them.
Das überzeugt jetzt nicht so wirklich.
That's why I believed in Maki Roll, because I wanted to believe in her.
Just because you're acting all cool doesn't mean you get to skip training.
Auch die ist immer noch beleidigt deswegen.
Hey, come on. Don't you think you're being a little too strict?
Well, we come from different backgrounds. So for now, let's agree to disagree. No one's ever called me naive before. And from Kaito? Seriously?
Whether or not I believe, my heart can't reach Tenko anymore. But I want to believe in her. She wouldn't commit suicide. She wouldn't try to take us down. That's what I want to believe!
Me too. Gonta, no can believe Tenko commits suicide.
But if Tenko did commit suicide, that would answer all of our questions.
If you insist we believe in Tenko, then provide a reason to do so.
A proper reason.
All right, I'll give you a reason.
Ach, echt?
Is there a reason?
Yes, there is. Will you trust me, Maki? If it turns out I'm wrong, you can blame me all you like. But for now, I need you to trust in my detective work.
I don't believe Tenko would kill herself because of what she said. Okay, everyone. I'll see you guys after the seance. She said, see you guys after. I doubt she had a sudden change of heart. Just because we don't know how she was killed doesn't mean that it was suicide. We shouldn't be satisfied with that. And if we keep thinking, we'll find the truth. And that means we have to believe in Tenko. I make them all believe.
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hid her true intentions.
Tenko's not that kind of person! But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance. She could have secretly brought the sickle and then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the last of her strength, she threw the sickle underneath the floor. All the pieces fit.
So far, suicide's... seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her.
Also kann ich lügen, okay.
So she hid her true intentions.
Tenko's not that kind of person! But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance. She could have secretly brought the sickle
Ja, das
and then
stimmt.
stabbed herself with it.
Ja, kommt auch hin.
Finally, with the last of her strength, she threw the sickle underneath.
Was ist das Monokuma-Pfeil? Fatal Stab Wound. Ah ne, okay, das war das erste Victim.
The floor. All the
Das
pieces.
könnte passen.
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hid her true intentions.
Tenko's not that kind of person! But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance. She could have secretly brought the sickle and then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the last of her strength, she threw the sickle underneath the floor. All the pieces fit.
Also wenn wir lügen müssen, müssen wir ja Maki mit ins Boot holen. Da müssen wir mit
So
dem
far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
hohen
Her plan
Korn
was to take us
lügen.
down with her.
Ja, das passt wohl nicht.
Damn it!
Nee, goddammit.
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hid her true intentions.
Tenko's not that kind of person!
Vielleicht holen wir Korn, da probieren wir es damit
If
mal.
Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance. She could have secretly brought the sickle.
She could have been the signal under her clothes.
Damn it!
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her.
So she hid her true intentions.
She died during the seance.
She could have secretly brought the sickle
Ja.
and then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the last of her strength.
Auch nicht. Ich meine, ja, vielleicht können wir mit dem Monokuma-Pfeil lügen. Aber das Monokuma-Pfeil hat doch jeder. Damit zu lügen, das würde doch nichts bringen, oder?
With the last of her...
Naja, auch nicht. Ja, okay, Game Over.
So far, suicide seems to
Ah,
be the
eins habe ich
best
noch. Okay, erzähl mir mal, wie das wieder mit den Lügen funktioniert. Hold Lie.
explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her,
Take us down with
so
her.
she hid her true intentions.
Tango's not that kind of person.
The Caged Child.
But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how...
Das können wir probieren. Tankos Last Moments. Das wäre das letzte, was ich noch hätte.
secretly brought the sickle and then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the last of...
Ja, das hat geklappt.
I'll reveal the truth. Tenko couldn't have thrown the sickle under the floor. Because she died instantly. Instantly?
Could have might have not been instant, but she couldn't have gone far before she bled out.
I'm certain of it. My investigation determined that she died instantly.
What's your opinion, Maki? I'd like to hear from someone who specializes in murder.
Maki.
You're right. I completely forgot about that important detail. Tenko died instantly.
What?
As an assassin, I specialize in killing my targets swiftly. I have no doubt that Tenko was killed immediately.
Words of a true killer. Pretty sure we can believe everything she said.
Thank you, Maki.
How could you forget that, Maki Roll? You better apologize to Shuichi.
Excuse me?
It's okay, Kaito, really. No apology necessary. Anyway, Tenko died so suddenly that she couldn't have gotten rid of the sickle. Knowing that, the theory that she killed herself just doesn't fit, correct?
Just like I thought. Tenko wouldn't commit suicide.
Thank goodness, Himiko.
Which means someone definitely killed Tenko during the seance.
Her suicide was considered because we could not determine how she was killed.
No, there must have been a way. We're gonna figure it out.
Did any of the participants witness anything peculiar during the seance? If you know something, please speak up. It could be the key to solving this mystery.
Not a bad idea. We should remember what happened at the seance. Let me try to remember. I'm sure there's something. I need some kind of clue that will help me solve. I need some kind of clue that will help me solve this mystery. Naja, wir haben diesen Sound gehört. Wie viel Leben haben wir denn überhaupt noch? Ja, der Sound, der ist natürlich.
Did anything seem out of the ordinary during the seance?
There is something that bothers me. The fact that the seance failed. The ritual was perfect, and yet it failed. How utterly strange.
Now that I think about it, While we were all singing the song, I heard something fall.
Da stimmt. Hab ich verfehlt. Wow.
I'm more concerned about how dark it got in there. I mean, it was totally pitch black. My job was to relight the candles. Moving along the walls was seriously tough.
Did anything seem out of the ordinary during the seance? There is something about
Einfach skippen. Gibt's eine Blues ansingen müssen.
the ritual was perfect, and yet it failed. How utterly strange. Now that I think about it,
While we were all singing the song, I heard something fall.
I agree. Himiko, you think that something fell because of that sound you heard, right?
Ja, auch wenn ich mich immer noch frage, was das bitte für ein Sound war, aber okay.
It sounded like something heavy fell down and hit the floor really hard.
Ja, eine Abriskugel zum Beispiel.
What could have fallen down?
Fallen down? There wasn't anything on the ceiling that could have fallen down, right?
Am I wrong? I thought something fell, but
The sound was pretty loud. It did seem like something hit the floorboards.
Loud sound, like something hit the floorboards. Maybe the sound had something to do with the other thing that happened in the dark. Nein, nein, nein. Okay, nach unten. Weiter nach unten, weiter nach unten. White Sheet. Nee, es muss ja irgendwas mit dem... Crosspiece. Ja, ich würde aufs Crosspiece tippen, dass das gebrochen ist. Das hätte jetzt für mich am meisten Sinn gemacht. Mit dem anderen, was während der Seance passiert ist. What caused the sound that was heard during the seance? Ja, Kokichi ist halt... Jetzt step through one of the floorboards. Okay. Naja, es könnte auch die Dog Statue gewesen sein. Das wäre das Einzige, was schwer genug ist, um so ein Geräusch zu machen. Wenn ich ganz ehrlich bin. Aber...
Oh no!
Game over? Nee, einen Versuch habe ich noch. Ich weiß aber nicht, was denn sonst sein soll. Hole in the Corner war ja... vorher schon da. Ja, das... Du's Floorboard? Ja, das wäre wirklich das Letzte, was mir noch einfallen würde. Was anderes...
This is it!
Ah, okay. Würde keinen Sinn mehr machen.
I think the floorboard coming off had something to do with that sound. That floorboard came loose at some point during the seance, right?
Aber das würde doch nicht so ein Geräusch machen.
Could the floorboard have made such a loud sound though?
It was the sound of an intense impact.
If the impact was that intense, then it could have loosened the floorboard.
That's true. There would have had to be a strong impact to make that sound. But what was it? What could it possibly be?
All right then, let's go with that. We all gotta put our heads together now.
Okay. Das kann lustig werden.
So what made the floorboard come loose?
Judging from the sound, there must have been considerable force.
Someone who participated in the seance. Maybe that person tore off the floorboard.
That wouldn't make such a loud crashing sound.
Maybe the wooden statue fell over.
But that statue was still on top of the cage.
Culprit hide under floor. Then stood up with such might.
But we already said there was no one under the floor.
Someone must have stomped through the floorboard.
A floorboard that comes loose when you step on it is dangerous. God, it's like I'm the only one here who's staying on the ball.
You hardly have any experience with balls to say that, Mew.
Don't be stupid. Don't you know me and balls are the best of friends?
Ja, das würde ich auf jeden Fall unterstützen mit irgendwas. What would have made a strong enough impact to knock the floorboard loose?
So what made the floorboard come loose?
Judging from the sound, there must have been considerable force.
Das können wir, glaube ich, vielleicht
That
streichen.
wouldn't make such a loud
Crashing sound.
Maybe the wooden statue fell over.
Ja, die war auch noch
But
drauf.
that statue was still on top of the cage.
Ja, die hat sich ja nicht
Culprit
bewegt.
hide under floor. Then stood up with such might.
Ich meine, das würde ich am ehesten versuchen. Nein. There would be dead, ja. Okay, fair enough. Aber da war auch noch getrocknetes Blut unten, also...
Oh no!
So what made the floorboard come loose?
Judging from the sound, there must have been considerable force.
Someone who participated in the seance. Maybe that person tore off the floorboard.
Ja.
That wouldn't make such a loud crashing sound.
Maybe the wooden statue fell over.
Kann ja nicht sein, sie wäre noch oben
But that
drauf.
statue was still on top of the cage.
Culprit hide under floor. Then stood up with such might.
But we already said there was no one under the floor.
Someone must have stomped through the floorboard.
Stomped through the
A
floorboard.
floorboard that comes loose when you step on it is dangerous. God, it's like I'm the only one here who's staying on the ball.
You hardly have any experience with balls to say that, Mew.
Dann muss ja eigentlich das Crosspiece
Don't
under
be
the floor
stupid.
sein mit dem. Was anderes
Made the floorboard come loose.
würde mir nicht
Judging from the sound, there must have been
einfallen.
considerable force. Culprit hide under floor. Then stood up with such might. But we already said there was no one under the floor.
Someone must have stomped through.
Bam.
I agree.
Volltreffer.
Kokichi is right. The floorboard came loose because someone stomped on it.
The floorboards fit perfect. Going to make sure first time we go to empty room.
When we first saw the room, yes. But when I looked again during the investigation, one of the cross pieces supporting the floorboards was cut off. After examining the cut, I concluded that it must have been done deliberately.
Someone? You mean the culprit, right? Why'd they do that?
What did the culprit stand to gain by cutting the crosspiece?
What did they stand to gain? That's the question. To solve this case, I need to think carefully about the crosspiece and floorboard. Tenko's body was at one end of the loose floorboard, and the crosspiece that had been cut was on the other end of the floorboard. The unsupported board was outside the cage, so it could have been stomped on. Only one of the cross pieces was cut, the other two were intact. One of them was right under Tenko. Aber wenn man jetzt das... Ja, man könnte theoretisch den Boden anheben und nach hinten schieben und Tenko würde dann halt mit dem Kopf genau auf die Sichel drauf fallen. Aber die Wunde war ja auch im Nacken. Das würde ja auch keinen Sinn machen. Außerdem kann man das Ding nicht bewegen, wenn da dieser riesige Käfig drauf steht. And the other was in the center, right about where the edge of the cage was. What was the culprit attempting to achieve by stomping on the floorboard? Think, come on, think. Oh, Hangman's Gambit, ich habe auch keine Ahnung. Wie? Flash Spot. Get letter on, okay. ES. E. E. Ah. W. Game over. Okay, ich hab halt keine Ahnung, was er damit erreichen wollte. Ja, ja. Retry.
We can't let it in.
Vielleicht. Wir haben S. E. Send. Sio. Ses. Self. C. Warte mal, habe ich das A hier? Ne, das A war falsch. Noch ein E. Okay, C. C. C for... Wo ist man mit dem F? Naja. Ein A? Ich habe auch keine Ahnung. W. C. Nochmal ein E. Ich wüsste echt nicht, was da hinkommen sollte. Ceased. 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 Ah, come on. Sesam Open? Habe ich einen Seesaw. Ah. Seesaw. Seesaw. BE. Seesaw. Komm, C. Ich habe keine Ahnung. Habe ich ihn eh schon ausprobiert, ich weiß es nicht mehr. ET. Nee. Seesaw-Effekt. Ja, das ist natürlich ein Wort, was ich vollkommen kenne. Ich hab keine Ahnung, was das sein soll. Seesaw-Effekt?
That's right. The floorboard might have been used as a seesaw.
Yeah? A seesaw?
The crosspiece at one end of the floorboard had been cut off. The other two cross pieces holding up that board were close to the cage. Meaning, if you were to apply force to the end of the floorboard with no crosspiece, the next crosspiece would act as a fulcrum to turn the floorboard into a lever.
Ah, okay.
A lever capable of lifting up Tenko's entire body.
Her whole body lifted up?
Yeah, that sounds like a seesaw, all right. But why bother lifting Tenko's body?
They couldn't have killed Tenko like that, unless they used the sickle.
That's exactly it. Using the seesaw trick, it was possible to kill Tenko with a sickle.
Huh? How?
In order for the culprit to kill Tenko with a seesaw trick, the placement of the sickle is the most important factor.
The floorboard seesaw, the cage, and the blood on the white fabric. What conclusions can I draw from this? There's only one place the sickle could have been that is consistent with the evidence. Where was the sickle when Tenko was killed? Am Käfig. Also am oberen Käfig. Wenn ich nach unten gehen würde, würde ich es auch gerne auswählen. Danke. Ich klick doch! Ich klicke! Ich klicke!
That's it.
Ich habe keine Ahnung, was das Game momentan los ist.
Was
Das Game momentan hat für Probleme.
The reason we didn't see it was because of the fabric covering the cage. Also, the wooden statue kept the blade in place. It's true that the sickle's handle was thick, which made the statue wobble. But the statue's weight kept it from falling over. Once everything was in place, if you stepped hard enough on the seesaw, Tenko's body would have shot upward and hit the blade on the top of the cage. She was bent over, meaning the sickle's blade would have connected with her neck.
The 6-inch sickle blade wasn't long enough to stab Tenko in her crouched position. But with the floorboard acting as a seesaw, it could compensate for the blade's length.
Bringing the victim to the sickle rather than bringing the sickle to the victim. That's definitely an unorthodox idea.
It's crazy, but it would explain how Tenko got stabbed while she was in the cage.
So the sound we heard was the culprit stomping on the floorboard.
Das ist auf jeden Fall eine sehr interessante Methode.
That impact make floorboard come loose.
Looks like we got ourselves a good old-fashioned seesaw homicide. Wait, what the hell's a seesaw homicide? That's fucking crazy!
The craziness is what really makes the killing game fun, you know? They can't get away with murder the normal way, so they gotta think outside the box. Kudos, culprit! You did a great job keeping me entertained.
Indeed. Well played, Himiko.
Yeah?
It was you, wasn't it? The one behind the seesaw homicide.
Why her?
Because she's the only one capable of carrying out this plan.
The only one? Why's that?
Because this seesaw homicide required its location to be prepared beforehand. By cutting the crosspiece beneath the floorboard, you mean? Then the culprit would need to lure their victim into the prepared room. That is why you chose that room for the seance. Is it not, Himiko?
However, there are 3 empty rooms. Which one shall we use? The middle room. The middle room's always best for stuff like this.
Oh yeah! Himiko was the one who chose the site for the seance!
She likely found out about my plans for the seance somehow. You were quite vocal about the seance, Kyo. You even had instructions for it in your lab. Our culprit, Himiko, prepared her seesaw trap ahead of time. Then she waited for me to host the seance and suggested the middle room. She led us all into holding the seance right where she wanted it. Then, she killed Tenko, all according to plan.
That's a lie, right? Himiko did such a thing?
In the end, Himiko, who Tenko cherished and loved, tragically killed her.
Wait! We don't know that, right? He's wrong, right, Himiko? Himiko would never kill Tenko, right?
Kill Tenko? I killed Tenko?
Himiko?
What's wrong, Himiko?
Is it true that using the middle room was Himiko's idea? But does that mean that Himiko really killed Tenko? Would something like that really happen? Something so cruel?